Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rusty and Mojo podcast, episode 11. Joining me is my co-host, Mohammed, aka Mojo99, and of course, Rudy St. Clair as the third host who doesn't get to have his name in the podcast. And then a special guest today is my real-life best friend, Bobby. What's up, Bobby?
What's up?
Yeah, that's him.
So,
the only thing about Bobby is that he's my best friend.
Before you go into your thing, Bobby, please let us know how you met Jacob. I think I already know. Rudy already knows, but the people don't know.
I should clarify that we did record with this group like 2 weeks ago, but the podcast had to be thrown out because Rudy's audio was gone after the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's my bad. Sorry, everyone.
It's fine.
We had a lovely hour talking about
tell
food.
us again how we met.
Let's see if I can recall word for word.
The script.
No? Okay.
Huh? Yeah, where's the script? Oh, okay. No, I got it.
You said Tinder.
So me and Jacob had met in 8th grade in middle school when he moved from Alabama.
South Carolina.
I don't know. Same thing.
Definitely, it's very much not the same thing.
I don't know. So, either way, he moved up there. We had a math class together, and I remember because I think he took my spot.
I took your seat.
He's a little bit of a jackass, and I came in the next day because I was sick that day. And
I got a question. What did a younger Jacob look like?
Skinnier.
Actually,
a bad bitch. A bad bitch. Say it.
Super. I wouldn't say that. You should see the photos.
No,
of him
I was still ugly in a different way. I wasn't fat ugly. I was just
like
ugly.
his haircut was like, I think it was spiky actually.
Yes. Look, man, we're not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't okay to have.
This man.
We're not gonna act like it wasn't okay to have spiky hair in 2013 in middle school. Come on now.
He was the reincarnation of that kid from the first Toy Story. 1,000.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
That's so accurate. I seen the bigger.
I get that all the time. People say I look like fucking what's his name? Sid?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
With your current haircut, it's really
it works
reminiscent.
better because now I have a buzz cut. But
But basically, we were, we didn't really become super close until was it like sophomore year of high school?
Yes, because freshman year of high school, I just because I was the new kid in middle school, there were a lot of people at that school that were really nice to me early, which is not the typical expected experience. So I actually got a good amount of friends early. But then our freshman year of high school, because our high school was overpopulated, because I'm pretty sure our graduating class was like 600, 700 people, right? Something close to that. So it was already a fuck ton of people at that school. They made a new high school called Friendship High School, which is completely ironic because I lost almost all of my friends because they transferred to Friendship High School. And I wasn't good enough friends that relationship could sustain itself outside of being in school together. So Bobby kind of just won the luck of the draw, or I guess lost the luck of the draw. He got the short stick.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't hunting, but he found his way.
Yeah, so he just kind of won by
default. It worked out in the long run.
I was like, I was like, Bobby, did you die? Okay, your screen froze for me. So it's just like, I was like, well, fuck, I have like 4 people that I know now that are left at the school. Bobby's one of them. I'll hang out with that guy. And then the rest is history. We've been gay lovers ever since.
I got another question. Bobby, what is your most memorable, like, Rusty Buckets Jacob moment?
Yeah, he doesn't call me Rusty Buckets.
Oh, I know. Rusty Buckets, but most memorable Jacob moment, that is, I mean, there's a lot of them.
I'm bad at recalling moments. Like, people ask me questions like this, and like, I don't fucking have memories. They're like, what's your favorite holiday memory? I don't fucking know.
I mean, one thing,
something hilarious.
There's a bunch of stuff. Actually, this one's more recently. No, this one's more recently. This is actually what I actually found funny. Me and him and my other good friends, we took a trip up to the Boone, the mountains.
Are you gonna talk about me getting sunburnt to hell?
No. That we know that's gonna happen. That's like guaranteed if you just go outside, which is why you're a YouTuber, because you go outside that much.
Well, it didn't fucking help. It didn't help. It didn't help that he left our third friend. I don't know if we want to say his name or not. I'll just leave it out for in case. But he left the sunblock at the fucking Airbnb, and we were, what do you call it, tubing, where we got on these tubes and went down a river.
Yeah,
we went down the river for like we're on that river for like 2-3 hours. I reminded
him probably 6 times.
And Leo's fine because Leo's not white, but we're white, and I'm the palest motherfucker on
he's
earth.
Colombian, yeah.
So I got so badly sunburned. I still have a photo of it, like the contrast between my regular skin from where my shoes were and then the sunburn. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway,
so that's actually not even, well, ironically, that's not even the story. The story was specifically about a spider.
Oh no, the fucking spider.
We stayed at this.
Shut up, Jacob. Shut up.
We stayed at this Airbnb. It's a nice Airbnb, actually. Like, it was really affordable. It was actually really cool to stay at. But they had this little part underneath it that had like hammocks set up and these like cool lights around it that we were sitting in. Me and my one friend were sitting in. Jacob comes down, and the thing is, this door of it, there's like the main door, and then there's a screen. Now the screen door isn't like flushed with the wall, so there's like a little hole at the bottom of the screen. So if you have the big door open, stuff can get up inside. And I knew that. Jacob comes down, and I ask him to be sure. I'm like, "Did you close the big door?" He's like, I don't remember. I don't know how he didn't remember. He just walked down, but he said he doesn't remember. So then I had to get out of the hammock, which took my spot too. I get out of the hammock, walk up the stairs. And I'm like, okay, he didn't close it, so I close it. And I kid you not, I opened that screen door, and a spider that was this long crawled its ass inside of the Airbnb. And I'm fine. Like for shit like that, I'm not that freaked out. I was livid because then I tried to get it out and I did it, and it crawled all the way in. And I stopped for a second. I just closed the door. I walked my ass down there because both him and my friend are terrified of spiders or insects. It could be a fucking fly, and they're gonna have a panic attack.
I'm not no bitch. All right,
it's play you, Jacob. He's trying to play you.
It's really mostly spiders and wasps. Anything that flies and stings, and anything that's a fucking spider, I can't handle it. But after that, I'm fine. And I pick up snakes and shit. I'm a fucking man.
It's over. Fuck with me here. You can't defend yourself. You can't defend yourself. Either way, I walk my ass down there, and I look at both Jacob and my other friend. I'm like, both of yo dumbasses are gonna sit right here and don't, because I didn't even tell them it was a spider. If I told them it was a spider, they would have started screaming. And it's an Airbnb. It's next to the guy who owns the Airbnb's house. And so I go up and I look at the spider. The spider's huge. And I was just going to kill it, like you would, just like whatever. And then there was a huge, like, bumpy sack on the back of it, which most likely meant that it was a pregnant female spider. And I was like, I can't kill this shit.
If you step on it, a million baby spiders are coming in.
Yeah. So basically, I had to, I grabbed a plate because there was, like, some plates in the cup. And I literally somehow maneuvered and got this thing underneath, on a plate underneath the cup. And I carried it out. Jacob and Leo eventually came upstairs once they figured that.
There it is.
Oh, yeah. Okay. His name's Leo. I don't care.
I think you said it first, Jacob. I heard it earlier.
I'm seriously doubtful that he'd give a shit.
Yeah, I don't think he would.
Yeah.
But so they come upstairs and they see the spider, and I kid you, I had to tell them because it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night, and they're screaming next to this person's house when they see the spider. Like they,
you make it sound like I'm bloody murder screaming. I was like, oh shit! Like,
Leo was jumping up and down. I kid you not. Jacob said, "Oh shit," and immediately ran in the fuck side of the cabin at the screen door. He closed the door all the way. He just blocked me out. And then he came back outside because I needed their help to like kind of
let the spider
out. Yeah, so I went down the stairs. Jacob didn't even do it. Jacob literally just closed the door all the way. And then Leo was trying to break into the Airbnb because he didn't want to help me either. Yeah. And eventually I went down. We went to the side of the woods. I let it out. And then I remember too, like the second I let it go, I've never seen my friend Leo run that fast in my. This dude booked it up the stairs.
Damn, I just don't fuck with spiders, man.
No, he does no. Yeah, so that was
fuck with spiders.
From that's like the most recent good memory I have. Right. Outside of that, basketball, I whooped his ass a lot, and that was the most fun about it, I guess.
Yeah, Bobby, I've said this before to you, Bobby. I have played better basketball players than you and beat them, but I will never beat you because of how well you match up against me. Like I've played people that are better than you, but it doesn't matter against you because you're so, in comparison to me at least, so fucking athletic, so much faster than me, so stronger than me, despite the fact that I weigh more than you and lift more than you, which doesn't even make sense to me. And then your tenacity, you just try so fucking hard every second. And I'm like, do you not get tired?
Oh,
I can't score on you because you put up so much goddamn effort, and I'm just like, every time, like, there's so many moments where I'm playing you and I'm just like, I stop to myself and I'm like, can you calm the fuck down? Just playing basketball.
It's that good old hustle skill like you were talking about in your latest video, Jacob.
Yes. All right, so that's Bobby.
Well, welcome to the show again, Bobby. Happy to have you on again.
Did you end up releasing that video you said you might?
No, not yet. I was up until I think 2 a.m. last night doing homework, and then I had work at 8.
Heard this guy talk about how he was going to do NFL videos for like 3 years in a row now.
I got it.
Just like that Mustang, right? When's that Mustang getting restored?
Were you trying to come at me? Because hey, bro, I work like 2 jobs
for the time, man.
No, man, nah. Hey, it's getting there. It'll be done at some point.
This man told me that car would be done. Like second year.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Again, it was never that far off. It was just body work, and that's usually the longest part. And it
what
also.
What type of Mustang we talking about? What year?
1966.
Ooh. Yeah, that's my year before my mom's dream car. So
we put a V8 motor in it actually. So it's got like 300 horsepower, which is unfortunate because the chassis cannot, for the life of it, handle 300 horsepower, but it's pretty funny because if you hit it too hard, that shit will just slide the hell out.
That's awesome.
It's okay.
All right. Well, fucking let's talk about Max is Nice. So
who is Max is Nice for people who don't know?
Yeah, also this will help for Bobby because I imagine he doesn't know. Bobby, have you ever seen those people that like do impersonations of basketball players?
Yeah,
like B.A. or whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Russell Westbrook, this is how he plays or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Max is Nice basically just copied that, did it in a way less funny, way less creative way, way less entertaining way, to where every video he's ever posted has made me physically cringe because it's so bad. And he recently did one on Kyrie and Kevin Durant, or how they play, how Kyrie and KD be like, the classic title of a fucking Instagram comedian. And part of it, he was burning sage, which Kyrie did that on the court like a couple of weeks ago, and he just stomps the shit out of it, pours a bunch of water over it, just completely disrespectful to the cultural element of it, which I would almost give a pass if he immediately apologized after Kyrie Irving called him out, because Kyrie commented on the actual post like, don't disrespect my fucking culture like that.
Well, let's give Kyrie credit. He said it a lot more tactfully than that, but essentially,
he was fairly respectful, because I don't think, like, it makes sense that if you just don't understand the significance of the cultural element of it, because I don't. So sometimes you're ignorant and you fuck up, and that's fair enough. But Max is Nice's response to this was, hey, Kyrie, box me.
Yeah.
He challenged Kyrie Irving to a boxing match, and then
for $100,000 too. That's
like, he has that fucking money. And he just refuses. He didn't apologize. He kept doubling down. I think he made some half-assed apology, but then he made the apology, but then even on his Twitter, his pinned video was still the fucking Kyrie KD thing that he didn't delete. I always hated the guy just because his content was shit. But then he's just like being a total fucking dick. And then There is also, as people do when they hate someone on Twitter, pulled up 7-8-year-old comments of him just saying the N-word a bunch, and Max is nice as a white guy. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna probably make a video about it just because I've always wanted to shit on the guy because I just don't like his stuff. Honestly, it's coming from a very petty place. Like, it's not. Yeah. I'm not actually that offended. I'm not really offended at all. I just want to be mean to someone I don't like.
Yeah, I'm an asshole. We talked about this like one of the last podcasts we recorded. Toxicity brings in all like the attention on social media. It's the way it is. But I feel like people have been waiting on that dude Max. Hold on, this meeting has been okay. Do I need to pay attention to that?
That notification is going to be in the podcast. Point blank. Period.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Anyways, like I was saying, I feel like people have been waiting for this man's like downfall for him to slip up. And I honestly feel like no matter what he did, he should have apologized. But like no matter what he did, people were still gonna shit on him. It was in a lose-lose situation.
Well, I think is the worst about Max is that like it's one thing to just make bad content. I'm not gonna lose my shit about that because plenty of people make the bad shit, but if you hear his comments on stuff, he seems to think like he's so goddamn funny and he's so fucking special. It's like, dude, you're making Instagram basketball comedy videos where you put on a LeBron jersey and shoot your jump shot kind of weird and be like, LeBron be like, it's the most bottom of the barrel shit I've ever seen.
And it's just like, yeah, I see it, and it's just like, it's not, I don't know, he's not doing anything different or anything too special. I see it. I'm not hating the man's content. I'm really neutral. I just generally don't give a fuck about his existence. I don't care.
Yeah.
But it's just like, damn. For him to say, that's just like the most like internet, that's like the most internet fucking 2021 shit I've seen. Box me 100K instead of saying,
can you imagine if someone's like, this was kind of hurtful and I wish you would remove this and, be respectful to me. Or it's like, bro, let's go. Fucking fight me.
And he tweeted out like the internet is so soft or something like that. Like,
yeah, he tweeted that too. It's like the internet's whatever. But then like I was gonna make a point. I can't even think of what I was gonna say. It was just like it's so stupid. It's so stupid.
And like for him to think that he could last in a ring with Kyrie Irving, I don't know about you guys, but I pay attention to boxing and stuff like that kind of. But Kyrie Irving has like one of the best physiques when it comes to like boxing. Super quick, light on his feet, obviously, and he would if he was. I know he wouldn't, but if he was ever in a fight with someone like that, he would destroy Max is nice. Destroy him.
He could do it as Uncle Drew. That would give him immunity.
Uncle Drew. I completely fucking forgot about Uncle Drew. Holy shit.
Dude, Uncle Drew, as a commercial as it is, fantastic art. So I love that shit. It's hilarious.
It's a classic.
Oh,
it's a good classic.
It's a great advertisement for Pepsi Cola.
All right. So that's Max is nice. He's a dipshit. That's all you need to know. Do you have any opinions on that, Bobby?
Well,
it's not just what we're telling you.
Well, no, I mean, I know what you're talking about with the guys doing impersonations and stuff like that. I mean, he probably should have apologized. It's definitely rude, especially when you're kind of mocking somebody else.
I mean, even if you just didn't say anything, that's better than being like, let's box.
But honestly, with how there's people who are trying to get famous on a lot less. And I'm not surprised people are going to try and do that. Also, boxing is just popular right now. Like every guy, like every big person is just trying to
like he thinks he's fucking fight. Jake Paul.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And that's the thing. You see guys like Jake Paul and Logan Paul, and like they have that kind of arrogant personas to themselves, and that's probably something that he gives a huge kind of example to. I mean, there's just a lot of people like that nowadays. I can't really like, oh man, he's just a one in a million. There's so many like him nowadays. I can't even try and argue it.
He just specifically falls in the NBA sphere. So
focus. Yeah.
I kind of hate his point that he's trying to make in his defense of himself, where he's like, "Oh, it's just comedy, bro," because that's sort of his stance in response to people hating on him. Oh, this is just comedy. Why are you being so mad at this? But like, man. Don't try to take this weird pseudo right-wing perspective of like, freedom of speech, jokes are immune to criticism. It's annoying.
Well, the thing is, when people make that argument, like, yes, you're allowed to say that, and I'm also allowed to say you're a fucking dick for saying that. That's how it works. So many people will be like, why are you criticizing me saying things? Freedom of speech is like, me criticizing you is freedom of speech. That's how that works. It's a two-way street. Yeah, but I had another point and it just left my head. Fuck me. All right, let's just.
I mean, is it just that Max is nice is awful and that you want to make a video about it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I don't like him. I'm not even gonna really focus on the controversy too much. I just want to laugh at how shitty his content is. Anyways, yeah, let's go to the Twitter questions. You got that, Rudy?
All right. First,
oh yeah, I forgot you wanted to talk about something.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if for those of you who don't know, the viewers, you obviously won't know this, but we usually record our podcast on Fridays, but today's Saturday, and I suppose it was cool if we could push it back.
I don't remember what that was about.
Yeah, push it back a whole day because obviously I'm in a relationship and all that other stuff, and our 6-month anniversary and stuff like that was yesterday, which is cool. And we're like in a partial like long distance relationship. She goes to school in Indiana, but like her family lives here. Her family just moved here, so it's like kind of long distance relationship whenever she's at school, but like she actually lives here. But anyways, I was gonna ask you guys, well, really Bobby now for his experience of the long distance relationships. If you're comfortable, you don't have to.
No. Oh God, it's fine.
don't name names.
No, of course.
Yeah, that's number one. Never name.
I'm not gonna say that. No. So what do you want to know specifically? Like, just
I want to know your experience with it. Yeah.
So actually, I mean, to be real with you, your situation outside. Well, how far is her school? Just out of curiosity, from like distance wise, if
it's far, it's up north, like 500 miles.
Wow. Yeah, for me, it's kind of the same situation. Her family, my ex, her family actually, we lived in the same town, but she was going to school somewhere else. That wasn't not that far, but like still a good distance away.
Like 2.5 hours, 3 hours.
And I understand long distance, like especially at this age, a lot of people are starting their careers, and sometimes you got to be willing to make some sacrifices, in order to like help those careers. But it's workable, but you can't sustain that for a long period of time.
Yeah,
it's just not how a relationship is meant to be. Unfortunately for me, that was the kind of thing that killed it, because being far away from somebody, especially when she was a year younger than me. So this was her first like freshman year in school, a whole new environment. Some people have actually experienced this story before, but literally what happened was she fell in love with somebody else. That's what happened. And then she ended up leaving me. Supposedly she had cheated on me before, and she didn't say anything. A month later, she tried to play it off. Her family was, she told my family, multiple families, that and her friends, I was being mentally abusing. And
what?
Damn, you're just going all in on this. I thought you would.
I want to hear it all.
Shit back.
Wait. I want to hear the unfiltered Bobby in the motherfucking cuts. Bring it on. I
ain't gonna lie about it. Look, but you know, and I felt terrible when I first found out, because especially when you hear that, I didn't know until like a month and a half later about the other guy. So I was sitting here thinking that maybe I'm just a really bad person.
How'd you find out about the other dude?
Well, actually, ironically, she told my sister first in a text, because she still kept and still does keep in contact with
Bobby.
My sister.
Is burning bridges.
And my and she told her, and then we and her like a month later, or like a couple weeks after that, had a conversation because I wanted to talk to her about what actually happened. And she explained to me how she'd been falling for the guy. She had liked him since November. And the reason it's so rough, and the reason it was like, I'm sorry if you hear a baby in the background, it's most likely my nephew. The reason it was so rough, I don't know. It's just babies. He might have a best friend over. Either way,
he's a baby.
Little baby party in the back.
He is. What was really rough about it, and I think Rudy knows this along with Jacob, but I was actually 2 weeks before we broke up because I was going up to visit her for Valentine's Day. I was going to propose, and I had a
wait. What?
Yeah. This was a serious relationship. This wasn't.
Yes, we've been dating for like 2.5 years by the time we broke up, and we So, and I had already like told my family, like I brought her up to meet. The only part of my family she hadn't met was like my dad's side. Like when like she met them, I told my dad about it. Like that week, I was going to tell and ask her dad for permission, and the following week I was going to go up and do it. But
that stupid bitch.
But I'm not going to diss all long. I'm not going to diss all long.
I'll diss her for you. You hear you watching this bitch? Fuck you. All my niggas hate you. All my homies hate you. God damn.
Look, and here's my mindset on it. Okay, at least if she's gonna leave me for this guy, I would rather her stay with her and be with her or be with him long term, like for the rest of her life, because then it makes it at least worth something. Now, I'm not going to say anything, but I know for a fact that's going to be happening. Jacob knows that, but that's regardless. I'm not going to say anything on that detail, but mainly as long, like, even you love someone so much, like you want them always to be happy, even when they completely crush you. So like, I'm still have that mindset. And, honestly, it worked out for me because I would have went to the wrong school and I would have been with a person who I thought cared a lot about me, but really didn't. And I'm with someone now, actually, who freaking I love. And she's dang well. She's a nerd. She's competitive as shit like I am. She plays video games. You can't beat
Bobby
that.
found himself a gamer girl.
This girl, for like Lord of the Rings, this girl's like, she's read the entire Silmarillion. She's like dedicated. And most people who don't know Lord of the Rings, if you if you know and have read the entire Silmarillion, you are like a dedicated hardcore Psycho fan. And we like
is that something like beyond the books themselves? I've never heard the word Silmarillion in my life.
It's like some like I swear to God, people who are Lord of the Rings fans might be in a cult religion because I swear it's so detailed. I can't like fathom. Like I thought Star Wars had like some layers to its universe, and Marvel maybe too. Dude, Lord of the Rings, they have like multiple languages, and they have multiple that they just made up. Like that Tolkien, he made up all of it, like out of the bottom of his head, and he has like some stipulation that Disney or no other big company can buy it, and like it's ridiculous. So just so they can keep like building on it. But regardless, those kind of things, it's tough. Hard, like long distance relationships can be tough. I think Mojo though, I think it's still okay. I don't want just because my experience was bad. I don't always think that's the case. I think there's just, especially at this age, there's going to be times where you're going to be apart a little bit more than you would down the line. So I think it's just communication is key. And a willingness to like be there and try in a relationship. I think if you can do those two things, it most of the time will always work out, and eventually once you're together more, the relationship will flourish into what it's supposed to be.
Rudy, have you had any experience with like long distance?
Sort of, kind of, not really. I mean, my like big long relationship that I had for almost 8 years, that I was engaged and everything else. There was like windows of long distance, but never anything for a super extended amount of time. So not really that I can attest to. No. I can attest to having a new nerdy girlfriend. That's nice. I enjoy the nerdy qualities of my woman as well. She's just a big K-pop nerd. Would have never had any interest in that world.
Let me talk about Jake.
Bobby had a thing for a K-pop nerd for a while.
Yeah. I remember we talked about this.
I found out she was like using me too from actually my current girlfriend because they were friends. Like, turns out like she would. All like,
right, Bobby, can you not just burn down every bridge?
They're not bridges. They already gone. They already gone. I don't care. They gone.
I didn't even know that bridge was burned yet. You never told me about that.
Well, I mean, I haven't talked to her in months. I mean, I'm not saying it's like talk. I'm not trying to be like, oh yeah, I mean, it just happens how it is. I mean, there's much worse people out there in this world. Trust me. I mean, I'm not gonna get mad because a girl pretty much kind of used me once to get a free pizza. I mean,
wait, whoa, hold on. You said that she was using you. You did not say she was using you for a free pizza. Can you elaborate on getting used for a free pizza?
Relationship. That sounds like a one-time thing.
Well, I mean, there was like I remember I helped it. Like,
I mean, I kept giving her pizza.
When she
I
asked
gave her
me,
pizza
like
every day of our relationship.
Like I wasn't dating this girl. This girl I wasn't dating. But it's
really,
like that's the problem. I'm just Jacob knows, but for the audience that they didn't know, this was the one time I will admit, unfortunately, to being maybe a little bit of a simp.
A simp.
But okay, Haley Williams.
Are you talking about like the 2-hour road trip you did?
No, and that's the thing that actually goes in more detail. So one thing with her is if she needed something, she would kind of make it seem like it was drastic. So like the reason is she went to college somewhere and she was basically making that so like she had to get her stuff and bring it back home, and no one could do it, and she needed it then. So like she texted me pretty much acting like there was no other options. And obviously I'm a nice guy. Even if it wasn't her, it could have been anybody. If I had someone who texted me and needed that help right there, I would have done it if I was able to do it.
You're a much better man than me.
it turns out that if she probably really didn't need it, then it's the same thing with the pizza. Like she was saying how she was so hungry and she had no money for food, but really she just
she made you order a pizza for her. It wasn't even like,
well, no, she didn't make me. She just was putting like she said how she was so hungry and she had no food, and I was like, hey, I can order you a pizza, send it to your dorm if you need it. That way you're fine. And then she
manipulative bitch.
And ironically, she was now. Here's what's funny. Because we actually went to high school with her, me and Jacob, but she was roommates with my current girlfriend freshman year at their school. And it was actually my girlfriend that told me that she had been playing me with the pizza and like with other stuff. And that my girlfriend had known about it, but I didn't. And I didn't care. Like if someone needs it, like my whole mindset is if I'm going to still be a good person like I can. If some people are going to abuse it, that's whatever. They got to live with that, down the road.
I would have to be in fucking love with somebody to go on like a 4-hour road trip to give them some shit to their apartment. Like,
I do it for you if you needed it. I do it for anybody.
I wouldn't do that for you.
Mojo Rudy could call me right now and be like, and I barely even know them that much. They call me right now if they need some. I'd be down there.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix the message Bobby on Xbox Live for help moving.
Better man than me. I'm not doing none of that shit. All right. I'm surprised you went in so much depth, Bobby. I figured you'd be very tactful.
Hey, I didn't get a lie.
Like, this person did this to me.
I didn't say no name. Look at it. It's the past, but I'm going to answer the question.
It probably seems worse to me because I know these people and it's not just vague ideas, but
Wait, I ain't going to lie about it. I can, be honest.
Great content for
fair enough.
That was a powerful half hour.
Let's get to now. Can we get to some questions?
All right, sure. Unless anyone else has anything that they just
this
need
podcast
to dive
is so
into.
much better than the first one we recorded. I'm glad it fucking broke down because last time we were talking about oatmeal raisin cookies.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to rehash your oatmeal raisin cookie take, I will say it's fucking terrible. It's awful. It's a bad take. So the world should know.
So everyone hates the take. So
it's not even that you're wrong. It's that your reasoning is poor. But let's not get into it.
Whatever.
We'll put that episode
I
on.
did have a food hot
Patreon.
take the other day that annoyed some people. I think potato wedge fries are the best kind of fries.
I can agree with that. I'm not mad at you at all for that.
I can't remember what's the.
I question if they're even fries.
They just look like a cut potato.
I question if they qualify as fries.
I don't like mashed potatoes or anything like that, but I love potato wedge fries, which doesn't even make sense.
Practically 21 and you don't like mashed potatoes?
Dude, I don't eat anything that comes out of the ground.
That's man.
Bobby knows this full
I can't wait for you to be in your mid-20s and for your palate to have changed up.
Palate of a toddler.
You do, man. Like I thought I was a picky eater, but like I've grown
burgers,
a little bit.
Chicken, mac and cheese. That's basically 90% of what I eat.
And he will eat the same version of it too, same place every.
When we went on that trip to Boone, he was like, let's go to this place and get this special sauce on this burger.
It's comeback Shack. I'll say no. We said last time. I don't care. I'll give him props. Dude, sponsor my ass, Bobby Bear.
Comeback Shack. Comeback Shack is fantastic. But he was like, get the comeback sauce on it, or whatever the fuck it was called, which sounds kind of gross when you say that.
Yeah.
But it was like, get the burger with the sauce on it. It was like, I was like, but I just want a plain cheeseburger. Let me have it. Leave me alone. I know what I like. I don't need to add to it.
But you can like more than one thing, Jacob.
I can, but I'm also perfectly content liking what I already like.
What's gonna happen if you discover that you don't like something? You
then
go,
I don't like it,
no.
and then I move on with my life.
Right, yeah. And if you do like it, it's a whole nother avenue.
It is, but I'm fine with the avenues I have right now.
There's been so many times where he's actually like done something that he's just never done before because he thought he wouldn't like it, and then he ended up actually liking it
naturally. Right.
And it was just
Shut
like,
up.
I even told him too. I literally was just like, bro, because usually he gets 2 burgers if he's like on a vacation, more things. So like I told him like just get one of a regular burger,
yes,
and to get one with that style, and he still didn't do it.
Dude, you couldn't even get a side of sauce and like put it on a bite of your burger.
Actually, that would have been smart. We didn't think of that.
No, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Smart. So I would. My worry was I was gonna ruin my second burger by doing that, but I could have just tested the waters and still had a perfectly fine burger. But I must have boga.
You sound like you were 4 for a second.
A perfectly fine boga.
All right. So,
all right, Rudy, hit us with a question.
Yeah, first question is from at NBA_Rudy, and it's actually a reply to a tweet of yours, Jacob. And your tweet says, "Moving Hot Take Tuesdays over to the second channel.
Oh, you're
making
asking
them
me
weekly.
about an editing job on the podcast?
Yeah. Rudy asked, "Does this mean I get to edit one additional video per week?"
Once I get that channel monetized, I'll do that. Until then, I'm not going to make you work for free.
All right.
Which I hopefully should be soon. But yeah, sure. You can
I need work. All right. Next question. This one comes from at BBB balls to the wall with the number 2. What jobs, if any, have you worked prior to content creation and editing? Are there any skills you gained Are there any skills you gained with them helping you now? There are also 2 commands here. Force Jacob to open up on how and why he gets no bitches, and force Rudy to monologue about something for 5 minutes because his life seems interesting. So I'm not going to acknowledge the commands because we only take questions on this podcast.
Wow.
Manners matter.
Okay.
But what jobs, if any, have you worked prior to content?
I worked 2 weeks at a grocery store and my legs hurt, so I quit. And then I've done nothing but YouTube since. Literally, I went to Bobby. I was like, I can't stand for 4 hours a day. He was like, you are such a bitch.
You know what's so funny too is he worked with my other friend there, and my other friend said that the managers literally told
I was too lazy.
Yeah, they literally said no, they didn't say you were too lazy. They said you were the most lazy person they had ever hired in the entire time they've worked in the industry of jobs.
Damn. Damn, they said that? I didn't know that.
Yeah, damn. They did not like you.
Look, man, if I don't enjoy what I'm doing, I do the barest minimum that is possible. So
minimum wage, minimum effort, baby.
When they tell me to fucking vacuum the hallway, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go over this hallway like 40% of it, so I just cover the areas that are kind of dirty. So I understand why they feel that way. But that's why I pursued YouTube so heavily, because I was like, I cannot do things that I don't want to do well at all. So I have to do things that I want to do. That's the same fucking reason for school. I cannot do anything that I just vehemently do not want to do, and I vehemently did not want to do that fucking job. So I completely understand why they would think me a very shitty employee. Yeah, that's it for me though.
Bro, that's funny as hell. But for me, so to answer the question, no, because of my dad. So when I was in high school, like 10th, 11th grade or whatever, I attempted multiple times to work at a pizza shop that was literally across the street from my house. And I just wanted to make some money because it's like, I'm like, what, 15, 16, 17 years old or whatever. And, you know, don't have any money to my name. I'm just like, yeah, it'll be fun too. So why not just go ahead? I just dropped my water bottle. but I was like, yeah, I just always wanted like something to my name. And I think it'll be kind of fun to get some experience, anything. And my dad just solely wanted me to focus on my academics at school. He was like, I don't want you working, like work for what? Like, you don't need money. What are you going to do with money? So he kind of just boxed me. I'm just like, fuck. So just did school. And yeah, that's when I stumbled onto YouTube. I was like, okay, so this man's like not trying to let me do this right now. He wants me to solely focus on school. Let me go ahead and see what happens.
You want me to solely focus on school? I'm gonna find something else to focus on.
yeah. So then that happened, and yeah.
All right. Well, Rudy's not. I guess you've done podcasts for the most part. You function as like an editor now. So.
Yeah, I would say so. I've been slowly formulating how I'm gonna do hustle points this year. But I mean, before I was editing for fucking half of NBA YouTube and doing this. I had several jobs actually. My first job, I was changing oil. I did that for a year. That's just it's tough, but it's not the worst job in the world. It paid decently, but not enough like every other job. After that, I worked at Best Buy for a year. I worked at a conference center doing like event technology and setup. We've talked about that a little bit before on the podcast, but like the only thing I really learned from working all these jobs was that wage labor is a ripoff every single fucking time. And so like I'm just gave up on doing that. And so that's what encouraged me to pursue freelancing and the content industry full time. It's because I didn't have to answer to anyone but myself, and I didn't have to go to work every day feeling like I'm getting ripped off just for showing up. So.
All right. That's good. Yeah. By the way, Zach LaVine with 22 at halftime on 70% shooting.
He's going for 50.
Still suck. Yeah. Dude, Nikola Jokic had 50. Damn,
he did?
Yeah.
Is he still averaging a triple-double?
I think it's
I don't even know.
Dropped a little bit. I think it's a little
bit. What about you, Bobby? What have you worked before? I know it's not really directed at you because it was framed as like prior to content creation, but like
no, it's okay. I mean, so first job I was 16. I got a job as a dishwasher at a country club. I worked there for like a month and a half, 2 months. That job was not fun. Well, because it wasn't the standing part. It was the working with hot plates. I would burn because you got to, especially with a kitchen. Like sometimes you got to get it out quick, especially with dishes. They use so much, so you're like running through. You don't stop at all, and the shifts were like 7-8 hours, and my hands were always burnt and chafed, and it hurt so badly. And I was like 16 at this point. And I'm like, it's made me affect my schoolwork. And then the people too, because you could tell like the cult, like almost like the environment was like a family that was about to hit a breaking point when I went into it. Because some of the people there had been there for so long, even when like my sister worked there, because that's how I got the job. And she like, you could just tell they were just on edge a little bit to like flip. But I ended up leaving after a month and a half. And then after that, I did a seasonal at Target. Which again goes to Rudy's point of not thinking hourly wage living is worth it because they just don't really care too much about people as a person rather than just, their financial gains. And for the last 2.5 years, I've worked as a front desk assistant at a cultural center in my town. That job I actually love. The people have been unbelievably great. It actually works towards my major for what I'm trying to get. I'm getting something in recreation management and sports. But the people have been so nice. They work with your hours. They literally make you feel like a family. It doesn't pay too much, but like as a side thing for while I'm doing like, school, it definitely, does what it can. And I have no regrets about it. Like easily the best job. And it taught me a lot. I mean,
it's also, in comparison to a lot of, especially your previous job, is pretty chill.
Yeah, I mean, I get access to a computer, so if it's not like busy or if someone doesn't come in, I can get homework done. And jobs, it really depends on the environment you get in and who you have working with you is kind of what determines if you learn anything from it. Because you depending on what the job is, you can grasp a lot of social skills, and it can get. There are like for me being able to work a computer, phones, people skills. Just like quick could even for people who are younger, like just being able to react to stuff quickly on the fly. Like there's times I have the whole building to myself, and like if something happens I gotta like fix it like that. And that's just there are aspects that you can learn, but you have to have a good working environment to do that. Places like Target, most of the time, ain't gonna teach you that. Places like Best Buy or like, but they're not gonna teach you that most of the time. They're just there. You are just like a little freaking. They're literally just there to help their bottom line, just tiny bit. You're just like a little speck for them, and they easily can just pick you out and replace you. If you're not going to be valued at places like that. So I would say, even though I'm not, this doesn't really help me for any editing or stuff like that, I would say that you work somewhere that it would at least acknowledge you and admire you for who you are, rather than think of you as just a commodity. If you're going to try and work anywhere, regardless of where it is.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good advice, I think. And you say you work at a cultural center now?
Yeah.
So, like, what does that mean exactly? Because to me, I'm imagining like a YMCA that's not corporate.
It's like an artsy kind of thing. I work for the town that I live in, but it's like an artsy music kind of building. We do performances, we do plays, we also run classes, like we have a dance room.
Okay, awesome. So it's not like a for-profit operation, it's by the city?
No, we lose money almost every single year. We don't make a dime. But that's the thing, is when you work for, and that's also why I was interested in working in rec management, is because you work more for people rather than a profit. I've never wanted to work for a profit. I just kind of want to do stuff that I want to help people and make them enjoy their lives. So that was something I could do without having to worry about. Whereas, like I said, places like Target or Best Buy, they're trying to get a profit.
Yeah,
we lose money. We lose money in the sacrifice of trying to help other people. And I worked in athletic aid and like scorekeeping and stuff like that for basketball, baseball. So it's a good environment. You just got to be patient with it and make sure you have someone that values you. That's all that matters.
I have a question. I don't know the extent that Rudy and Mojo are going to care, but I wonder what your guys' Super Bowl picks, because
this is my category. I don't know. I'm not going to go first though.
I mean, we talked about this the other day. Yeah. Although you didn't actually give your pick, I don't think. You just asked me what mine and Leo's was. I just picked the Chiefs because I like the Chiefs more.
Well, I want to hear what Rudy and Mojo think of it.
I mean, never bet against Tom Brady, right? But like, also fuck Tom Brady.
You guys are gonna bond so much because Bobby is the biggest Tom Brady hater that exists.
Okay, it's
like get your lips off your kid. Cut it out. You stop that. We don't like that.
Oh man.
I want to say
the fucking Jinx, by the way. Chiefs.
I want to say the Chiefs. Like my head says the Chiefs, but my heart says like Tom Brady. I don't know why.
All right, it's just like we see a pattern here. Yeah, our entire lives.
I was watching this YouTube video the other day, and it was like guys in a Discord call, and randomly in the background, you just heard the sound of two people making out, and they were like, "Dude, what the fuck's going on?" And he goes, "Oh, sorry, I was watching a video of Tom Brady and his son."
Oh shit!
That's great.
I need to know, Bobby, because you didn't actually say.
So here's the thing. I think this could potentially be a really good game. Ironically, I'm gonna say this: if the Bucks do win, I don't think it's gonna be because of Tom Brady. It's the same reason I don't think they won last week against the Packers. The reason the Bucks will win is because, personally, I think they have a better run game with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette, and they have a higher ranked defense. And that defense also pretty much was able to hold off Aaron Rodgers and the Drew Brees Saints for it was the Saints for the last 2 weeks, or the 2 weeks prior. And that can be a dangerous. And the thing is with Tom's not going to be stupid. He's not going to throw the ball away. That's what's most important. All Tom has to do, especially at his age, is just not throw the ball. He definitely can't do what he did last week. He can't throw 3 picks. But if he just does and be smart with the football, and they can get the run game going, it really comes down to how much the Chiefs are going to want it. And you always have that worry with a team that goes back to back to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
How much fire. It's the same thing with happened with Seattle, man. They had that Legion of Boom defense. They dominated the Broncos that first year. And though they played well, I mean, they almost won the game against the Patriots the following year. But like, that always can be a factor to think about. And there's a lot of guys on this Bucks team. Like, you got to think the Bucks haven't been to the Super Bowl since 2001. So, or it was 2000, 2001 around the time. But they want this. They're gonna really want this game. And if you can hit the ground running, really dig deep, and then have at least slow down Mahomes and keep him off the field. The biggest factor I've seen from this Bucs team that they've done the last 2 weeks.
Go ahead and make an NFL channel, man.
What the fuck I know it's what I'm thinking.
I'm enjoying this right now.
Fluent.
The fuck is wrong with you, Bobby?
I'm sitting here like I'm so fucking proud right now.
He's in his fucking bag right now. That's a big bag. What the fuck?
From the Saints and Bucs, here's what's or not Saints and Packers game. The biggest factor that no one for some reason talked about was time of possession. The Bucs dominated time of possession in both games. They didn't let Breeze or Rodgers have the ball for that much time at all. That's why they won those games. If you look back at the time possession, it was like I think at the end of the game, like the Bucs had like 35 minutes to like 16 or 19 or something like that compared to the Packers. It was
President Joe Biden
dominated by time of possession. It was genius. Bruce Arians knows what he's doing. I'm just throw this out there. Brady is a Hall of Fame quarterback. Brady probably is overall one of the greatest NFL players. He's got the stats. But don't you dare try and argue to me. I mean, I think it's not every QB can go into a team and win. But he walked into a team with a solid offensive line, a defense that was ranked top 10 last year. And you got to think Jameis Winston still threw 30 TDs and over 5. He led the league in passing yards with 5,000 passing yards. If you get a guy who is somewhat even remotely the only problem he had was he threw 33 goddamn picks. If you get anyone that is even remotely confident at throwing the football, you're going to succeed in that system. You get a Hall of Fame coach, and then on top of it, they bring in Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette. Are you shitting me? They could lose half their guys on their offensive weapons and still be a Super Bowl contender. Bullshit. It was all Tom Brady. That's full of crap.
This needs to be on YouTube.
Bobby, I'm not going to lie. YouTube. I don't know jack shit about anything you just said, but I feel like it was very right.
Yeah, it was riveting.
One thing that I want to say is that football is unlike basketball, football is a very complex sport. There's like so many moving parts, so many players come in, year out. There's like how many 70 some players on a football roster compared 53. To like what is it now in the NBA, like 16 17 now? I
think it's 17 including 2 ways. I think they're pushing 18, but it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, exactly. Like football is such a hard sport to actually like comprehend because there's so much moving parts. And the football community needs someone like you, Bobby. I don't know what the fuck you're on. I've never heard you talk about football until now, but this is your thing. This is literally all off the dome too. So just like
I've had this conversation with Bobby before. He can be like the NFL version of me because he knows how to just fucking talk about football all goddamn day.
Just go.
Does it well.
Either way, yeah.
Sometimes I tune it out because I'm just like, Bobby, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he started naming running backs. I'm like, bro, I don't know any of those.
This time because we're on a podcast, I actually like fully just appreciated how well you broke that shit down. That's
well,
it's an actual skill.
There's a lot of aspects to it. And like football, there is, like Mojo said, like most people they don't think that there's both. Like Tom Brady wasn't playing with a fucking middle linebacker last time I checked. Like bro can't control the defense. He does what he can on offense.
Middle linebacker is.
Shit, dude, really?
I know what a linebacker is. What's the difference between a regular linebacker and a middle linebacker?
Most of the time, a middle linebacker, it's for some. It depends on what the formation is. If that's a 3-4, but like middle linebackers for us, Luke Kuechly. Some of you might know who Luke Kuechly is.
Yeah, I'm from Carolina. I know who that is.
Yeah. So, man, middle linebacker. Basically, some would say a middle linebacker is like the quarterback of the defense. They have the ability to like. They're usually the ones who like Bruce Wagner's, Kuechly.
I mean, they normally got the headset on, right? And the helmet, traditionally. Like it's like the quarterback's on offense and the middle linebacker on the other side most of the time.
I think that's more of a recent thing that they started putting like a little like microphone in so they can speak with it. I don't know.
Yeah, because it used to be just the quarterbacks, but I think they started allowing one person on the defense to do it too.
They've been doing something different with it, but he likes that's just how it is. But I think it's gonna be a great game. I'm pumped. I know me and Jacob and our other friend Leo's gonna watch it tomorrow. The only
thing I asked out of you is a post-game analysis or something like that. I can already imagine a Rusty, but let Jacob help you with all that. Why the Chiefs or why the fucking
Bucks didn't win.
Oh, the Bucks. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, like bro.
You watched it. I mean, well, like you look at that, and then like I know the one video I was talking to Jake that I've been working on was the one on Matthew Stafford. Because
did he get traded?
He did. My whole take on I actually think that the Rams were the ones who won the trade, but most people think it's the Lions because the Rams gave up a crap ton of stuff. But then like even in the NBA, when you give up a pick, if the team's gonna end, well, I actually know it's different. I can't say it with the NBA because they have a lottery and stuff like that. But at least with football, when you do a big trade like that and you give up picks, okay, those picks are if you really are going to be like this Rams team, they're upgrading at quarterback. As much as people don't want to say it because Matthew Stafford hasn't won playoff game, the man's played in Detroit for 12 goddamn years. Anyone that plays in Detroit, the Lions have killed at least 3 Hall of Fame, like Barry Sanders, Calvin John, motherfuckers are deadly when it comes to like get the fuck out if you from Detroit. My God, I feel bad for Jared Goff. Imagine going from LA to fucking Detroit. My man is pissed. My man ain't gonna be happy about it. He's just livid.
You need to clip this and like if he, bro, Jake, you need to do
I've been
something
telling
with this
him to do this forever, and just keeps.
Either way,
manage him, Jacob. Please manage him.
I'm gonna make the pick though. I will say I think it's gonna be tough. I really want to say the Chiefs because I don't like Tom Brady. So I'm gonna say the Chiefs. I'm gonna say Chiefs 35.
Jacob, this is an undiscovered talent in the G League right now that you need to pull up. You're like this is your Masai Ujiri moment, Jacob. Do your motherfucking thing, get in your bag, and bring this man up.
Thing to do. I'm not the general manager picking up talent.
I'll say Chiefs, but Chiefs win 38-35. It's gonna be a close game. I will say my only logic for it is that in the last like 3 to 4 years, the NFL have adjusted rules to favor offenses over defense. And so even though the Bucks have the better defense, I don't know because of how the rules are now. I'm still gonna take because the Patriots had the best defense last year, and they didn't go to even the conference championship. Defenses just don't
Final
win
prediction.
As much anymore.
I got the Bucks. Just storyline on how the NFL is. They're gonna want Tom Brady to win.
I didn't realize this question would be so goddamn long-winded.
Yeah.
My bad.
He was in his bag. That's what just happens when you get too lost in the sauce.
Anytime I ask Bobby a football question, it's like, all right, I'm gonna wait for 20 minutes before I get the answer.
I have a question for you, Bobby, regarding football, because it's something that I tend to think about with football specifically. Other things too, but football more so. Yeah. I feel like oftentimes there's sort of this traditionalism around it where people just sort of go with a baseline of conventional knowledge and then build off that. Whereas like in basketball, right, the evolution is a lot faster. And sure, there's fundamentals, but like what is not fundamental and important depends on what the rules are because the nature of the game changes so much. Whereas with football, it being turn-based and it's a lot slower to develop, people, I think, tend to get held back by sort of traditional norms of the sport. Like, for example, not going for it on 4th and 2 in the middle of the field type of thing, or not going for 2 when you're ahead, not doing that. Like, I feel like these sorts of things in a basketball type environment where things tend to just progress really fast because the fundamentals are only fundamental and not necessarily essential. Football, I feel like, just has that culture to it. Do you think that culture is ultimately like a good thing that keeps people sticking around and knowing what to predict out there and what to see? Like, it's very easy for you to be like, oh yeah, they changed the rules the past 5 years to favor offenses more than defenses, and that's a noticeable change. Do you think it helps that people are so caught up in the traditions of it all, or do you think it hurts the sport more than anything?
I think change is necessary. I think they do that, and I think the NFL is more entertaining when offenses flourish, which is why I think they've done that. I will say that there has been a change, I think, in that culture because of college football. And I mean that because I think most college schools and teams are way better at developing guys, especially when it comes to football awareness, than they used to be. Because you're right. It used to be like rookies, it would took because of how the system was, it did take longer for them to progress and to develop. most of the time, it's not as bad of a case anymore. You get guys like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, who are winning MVPs in their like first year as a full starter. And I think change is better. And guess what? The NFL is flourishing because of it. And I think change is going to happen regardless. I think the NFL is going away from a more traditional standpoint. And I think that's important for them because I think it's going to make them more popular. It's going to make more money. And you have to be willing to change with the times. And if you notice that the NFL has been getting more backlash from older fans, ironically, they don't like it as much.
Part of that's political, but
yeah, part of it is political. But outside the political stuff, some of them also just feel like the game's not the same anymore. Same what they say with the NBA.
Too.
Exactly.
Yeah, I want to go into this because I have opinions about this in contrast to the NBA. But you can finish what you're saying.
Either way, change. All I was really going to finish up is change is a necessary, thing. It's going to happen at some point, and I think it's important to keep moving forward in time with it and do what is going to help elevate the sport to new levels each year.
So, for the NBA, I feel like if I watch a clip of football from like 1950 and I watch a clip of football from today, other than the quality being much worse and the shoulder pads being 10 times larger and the jerseys being a lot looser, I see the semblance. Like I see the resemblance between the two. Whereas if I look at basketball from the 1950s and basketball today, they're not even in the same fucking realm. Like I don't even see, they seem like completely polar opposites to me. And I feel like just that's in general, the NBA has a little bit more drastic of an evolution. What I thought was interesting about Rudy's question, where it was like, do you think that's good for the NFL? It seems like even though there's been a bunch of progress in the evolution of basketball, and then recently there's been a lot with football, it seems like generally speaking, that progress from a general like perception of fans has been worse for the NBA, making that progress so significant, while making that progress in the NFL has been positive for the NFL. I'm just curious why that's so drastic. I think part of it, like you talk about the old fans, like not being happy with it. I don't know. Maybe it's because I feel like the NBA was there because it was more traditional, other than like early in basketball. It was more traditional in the NFL. And then lately it's really ramped up the speed where it's like kind of like a breath of fresh air, maybe. Whereas with the NBA, it's kind of always been fun. It just changes. I don't know if that's accurate, but
one thing I respect about the NBA is I think, and I think it's why they get a lot of hate, is the freedom that the players do have. And I think that aspect of it, there is a lot more personality with the NBA than what you have with the NFL. I mean, we've been talking about everyone in the NFL has been talking about Deshaun Watson for a lot the last couple of weeks, but that's why Antonio Brown had been talked about as much as he did. That stuff doesn't happen as much.
Has like two of those every month.
Exactly. and that's the most important fact of it is like, and I think the NFL is well managed with it. But I also think that personality might be the thing that hurts the NBA a little bit more right now, at least, than what the NFL has. I can't, but like obviously, there's a lot of aspects.
In contrast to that, like I understand like it's kind of volatile to people, especially going from NFL to NBA. If you watch both, like it's like obviously because just they're different sports, but like the player freedom and how it's much more individual, I think, in the NBA. And if you get the value out of the team aspect of sports, then the NBA might not seem as great to you. But to me personally, I really appreciate the individual aspect, and for like player movement and drama and like, oh, did you hear what this player said? Or this player is considering going to this team. That's my favorite fucking thing about the sport, more so than even the actual on the court stuff. But then there are people on the opposite end of the spectrum that hate that
that's usually the least, like the thing that people in the NFL don't like. Because especially the reason, and in fairness, like the NFL is usually better to small market teams than the NBA is, personally, if I'm going to be completely real with you.
You're right.
Oh, yeah, you're 100%.
And that's another aspect. A lot of people, especially who I've talked to, who are just a casual fan, the one thing they don't like people moving around. It's the same reason I don't watch college, is because I don't like having guys in the team consistently changing each year and moving. And then now it's like you got drama with like people transferring, something like that. And that's a lot of people don't like that because then they never feel like their team has a chance. At least when you go into a season with the NFL, you're like, my team walking into it might have a chance. My team has the ability to make the move if necessary, which is why, and that's why a lot of people are like, I don't know what the Texans are gonna do, but that's why you've been having tough situations where like we're hitting a cap in which the players are starting to be like that, and they're starting to want to go like Tua wants to go, or not Tua. Deshaun wants to go to like Miami or the Jets in New York, very similar to James Harden with Brooklyn, or if someone else wanted to go to Miami, it's or like Jimmy Butler wanted to go to Miami from Philly. It's like they want, and even though Philly's a big market team, but beyond the point, that's just the NFL needs to determine whether that's really the direction they want to go, because I feel like it's going to hurt it more than it is going to help the league, because I think people do like knowing that their team, regardless of how big the place they live in, like like the Bengals have Joe Burrow, motherfucking Cincinnati, Ohio technically at some point could get themselves in a situation to win the Super Bowl. Detroit, who knows, could get them. They've done it before, they could do it again. You know what I mean? Damn Buffalo, motherfucking Buffalo, did you see that? They jumping on tables and shit. That's a dedicated fan base. I was still pissed when they moved the Raiders out of Oakland. They ain't a big market area, but damn, their fans were dedicated. And they had chances to be, and they've won a Super Bowl. And it's like, that's just, people like having their team, knowing that their team has a chance. And there's a problem.
Yeah, I think, like if I think like Zion on the Pelicans, there's a part of me that's like, Zion is never going to win a championship on the Pelicans just because it's the fucking Pelicans. Just because of that. And, of course, it's not possible for small markets to win. But
unless the NBA rigs the lottery in their favor,
it's definitely a lot goddamn harder. That's for damn sure. And I feel like whenever I see people talking about the NFL on Twitter, or I have a conversation with you, Bobby, it seems like every year it's like, oh, there's this one team that came out of nowhere and now they're in contention. And just no one was expecting that. And that happens almost every year, it seems like. Where in the NBA, rarely does that happen. The last time I can think of a team just out of the blue, suddenly they're a contender. It would be the Golden State Warriors in 2015.
Oh, okay. Yep. I thought you were going to talk about the Jeff Hornacek triple point guard Suns. 48 wins, caught a lot of teams on their fourth game, or
the
third
Suns
game
with Isaiah, Eric, and Dragic.
Oh yeah, 48 wins. Suns.
Out of nowhere contender. What are you talking about?
I didn't know you were talking about contender, so I was anticipating just like come out of nowhere success story. I'm so like, oh yeah, those Suns, those horny Suns.
2015 is the last time I can think of that happening in the NBA, where a team was just like no one expected them to be this good.
I would say for me, Buffalo was that team this year, because I don't think people going into the season thought Buffalo was going to be an AFC championship team with an MVP candidate quarterback. Like, not everyone didn't know how Josh Allen really was going to be, and he played like Josh Allen. Now he's one of the best QBs in the league. Like, you just don't see it coming. That's the other thing I talked about earlier. Like, guys, quarterbacks too. I still think it's because of college. The bitches are developing like fucking rabbits when it comes to they're just ready to go. I don't know why that. Rabbits? I don't know. I was trying to make the point
rabbits, there. Not developing
I was gonna, that's what I was gonna say, but then I was like, is that appropriate to say on the live stream or the podcast? But either way, I think that you're right though, Jacob. That's something that, and I think it's people like that. I think they just like not knowing who's good.
I definitely think the title of this podcast is the NBA versus the NFL. I wasn't planning on going in this direction, but we got here. How long have we been recording now, Rudy?
Only an hour and 8 minutes.
Damn, it feels like we've been talking for 3 hours. That's fucking great. Let's go for like another 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, I did want to point out this. I feel like the reason that a lot of the times teams come out of nowhere in the NFL, whereas it almost never happens in the NBA, is because of the nature of just how many people it takes to build a football team versus the NBA. It is the upper echelon of the upper echelon of talent, right?
It's all about having the guy in the NBA. And if you don't have the guy, your ability to really reach that level. So really, if you think about it, like whenever that happens in the NBA, it's because a guy came out of nowhere. Like Steph Curry suddenly was an all-star caliber player, and then boom, MVP.
Yeah.
Whereas in the NFL, like I think you could have like a team like kind of like just like the football version of the 04 Pistons, and that's way more doable
so much more
in the NFL than it is the NBA.
So much more. I mean, you could have just a quarterback who is average, but doesn't turn the ball over very much, and 10 out of 10 quality, everything else, not Nick YouTube Foles. Slang, but normal people slang.
Nick Foles. Yeah. Nick
exactly.
Foles for the Eagles in 2017.
Yep.
That man just didn't throw that man was just smart with the football, and he won the and that team was hurt too, and they won the Super Bowl. Yeah. They just had they had a good scheme, and they took advantage of their backups when they had them.
So part of it is small market isn't as impactful, and then also there are so many bodies in the NFL that like it doesn't come down to just a handful of players. When it comes down to just a handful of players, then if they fall short, then they fall short.
Which is why I'm kind of pissed that like everyone's like, oh, without Brady, like I think a lot of quarterbacks.
I mean, the way you describe it sounds like Brady can just show up and not be bad, and they'll be fine. Like,
he just that's what he has to do. His job. It just don't turn over the ball. Like last week, even though his defense and that run game helped his ass because his turnovers almost screwed him. Because they weren't even that good at balls either. Like they were kind of off, and if he can't do that again.
Let me ask you, Bobby. Were the Baltimore Ravens like considered in a contender category? I'm not
sure. I would say so.
I kind of feel like, especially because the NFL is more team based, maybe the Ravens are not as great because they rely so much on Lamar Jackson, whereas like a team like the fucking Tom Brady's team. I just forgot the name of them.
Bucks.
Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. He's an MVP quarterback. The one problem is guys who are really mobile tend to have harder times than more. Like Mahomes can get outside the pocket and move, but the dude's got a cannon for an arm and is accurate as hell. Like the man's a quarterback. Whereas there's been aspects of Lamar, though he can win, he can be clutch, he can win you games, but you got to have a good team in the back. And you're right now with the Ravens, I think the biggest problem is that he's having to carry a lot more on his back than he needs to be.
I also think of
Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson.
It's another, like those two guys, I think like Mahomes can carry a lot more weight than Lamar Jackson can. I think it's specifically because of the style. Like same with Mike Vick. Mike Vick, we can all agree. Yeah, Mike Vick is a Hall of Fame quarterback, but the dude had to carry. I say same for Cam Newton, 2015. His number one receiver was Ted Ginn fucking Jr. Dude might even give you a Hall of Famer. Yeah, Jonathan Stewart. I did too. It's just like that. Like Cam carried that offense.
Yeah, our number one receiver, Kelvin Big Mac Benjamin, was out the entire year.
Yeah, he tore his ACL in the preseason. Didn't even get to play in the, like that. That's what you don't like. People don't realize. Like it's those kind of guys have to do a lot to get to that game. If they don't, at least for Cam had the number 2 ranked defense, and Luke Kuechly on the other end. Yeah. So Cam, if they did struggle, that defense was able to balance, because that defense, literally the only other defense that was even nearly as dominant that year just happened to be the goddamn Broncos.
So it's almost like, just imagine, I guess by comparison, just imagine if the NFL, every team was like, had to be like the Ravens in order to contend. Like they had to have that guy. There probably isn't a big enough abundance of that guy for all of these teams to be able to be competitive out of nowhere. And that's kind of how it is in the NBA, because there are probably 8 players, 10 if I'm being nice, that I think can be the best player on a championship team, and you need to have that. And sometimes they're on the same fucking team. James Harden and Kevin Durant, LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's definitely how it is. I'd be curious to see though, because again, mobile quarterbacks are an interesting style in the NFL, because
I fucking love mobile quarterbacks. I find them so
I do too. They're exactly, and that's Mojo made a good point. They're the most fun to watch, but they also have the hardest time to succeed.
Yeah, I tell you what, even though I hated watching it when it happened, Johnny Manziel fucked the Alabama in the ass so goddamn hard, and it was so fucking. If I wasn't invested in winning that game, that would have been the most entertaining football game I've ever watched in my life.
And shout out Johnny Football. That dude just showed up to the NFL, got his bag, and said, "I am good."
It didn't work in the NFL, but it sure as shit worked against Alabama.
That man had the talent in the world to do it. He just got arrogant, and he let the money get to him, and he just didn't. He threw away a good opportunity. And look, you know who took it up though? Baker goddamn Mayfield, taking Cleveland back to the playoffs. I like to see it. I was rooting for them.
Isn't there a good amount of people that don't like Baker Mayfield? Like they don't
think he got drafted. His personality, actually, a lot of people were scared because his personality was a lot like Johnny's.
I like Baker Mayfield's personality though. Like I
do
little
too.
Bit of cocky.
He's not. But the thing is, he's not as bad as Johnny though. He is still a lot more mature than Johnny was.
I feel like when Baker Mayfield talks his shit, it's like tongue in cheek. Like I'm a competitor. This is what's happening. Whereas like Johnny Manziel doing shit, it was like I'm trying to fuck with people and have fun.
Yeah. Like I do appreciate. I mean, Baker's interesting. I want to see how he does next year because obviously the problem is too. It's like it's another reason why Trubisky. I don't think Trubisky is a horrible quarterback. The reason he gets so much hit now, I will say, Mr. Nickelodeon MVP is still top of the crop, but beyond it. He was in the draft with Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, and it's the same reason I think Baker gets a lot more hate is because of how good guys have been within their first couple of years. Guys like Mayfield and Trubisky are going to get a lot more heat than some other quarterbacks probably would, just because in most fans like mindset, if they're not at that level that the other guys are in the first couple of years, and they suck, even though they're only in their like young 20s. Yeah. And you can have guys playing in their late 30s at quarterback, but just because they ain't playing at that level and like after like 3 years of football and up they're screwed, they suck, they're busts.
I'm not gonna lie, in the fucking NBA, I'm getting tired of that. The mentality, like the reverse of that, because there's so many times where a guy is like 4 years into his career and he has not shown signs of being good, and they're still like, well, he's only 21, give him time. And it's like, he's had enough time to show us
like
something.
Lonzo. Say his name, Lonzo. Say his name, Lonzo, bitch. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I actually wasn't thinking Lonzo. I was thinking two names. I was thinking Mo Bamba and I to be fair, I am probably jumping the gun a good bit. Kobe fucking White.
Yeah, I knew it. Yeah, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I'm like, there are so many Bulls fans are like, he's 21 years old, and it's like, look, is it possible that someone isn't great for their first 3 years and then suddenly they're really good? Yes, it's very well possible. It happens pretty commonly, but I'd say about 80% of the time when a player is in their second year, granted for Kobe it's especially a little too early for him, but for Mo Bamba I don't think it really is. After that amount of time period has passed, most of the time I think it would be fair to give up on them, because most of the time that actually does end up being the case. Kobe White, admittingly, he just frustrates me, so I'm probably jumping the gun early on him. But like Lonzo, for example, there's still fucking Lonzo Ball fans holding out hope that he's going to be an all-star point guard. Yeah, it's over. It's over.
He's done a little better recently.
Yeah, he can shoot weeks, now.
Yeah, but like the first couple of months of this season, or first month, I guess.
He was struggling. Yeah,
it was. But I'll give credit to Lonzo. He's playing next to Eric Bledsoe, which is the worst backcourt pairing I've ever seen in my fucking life. And his coach and Stan Van Gundy is trash. Yeah. But regardless, Lonzo can be put in the perfect goddamn situation, and he is still going to be so much worse than people thought he was going to be coming into the NBA. That's just the fact of the matter. Yeah. I also saw that with Andrew Wiggins. There are still people holding out hope for Andrew Wiggins. He's going at, what is this, his 7th season, his 6th season?
That's so crazy to say.
Why are you still hoping?
He's got to be almost done with that max contract, right? Like it's about
how much longer are you holding out hope that Andrew Wiggins is going to be a fucking superstar? Like give it up. Like I'm making a video on Andrew Wiggins, and someone was like, "Come on, don't be mean to him. He's being better on the Warriors this year."
I don't believe that shit for a second. That dude's on a bigger market that is more favorable in the sports media world, so like people are covering him more positively.
It's true that he's been better on the Warriors just because it's a better cultural environment. But to sit here and act like we can't talk about how much of a bust Andrew Wiggins is, or at the very least how much of a disappointment he is, considering people thought he was the next Kobe Bryant, and he's turned into an okay player. Like fuck out of here talking about he's only 24, 25. Give it up. Up.
My thing is to judge someone who's young, especially in the NFL, solely depend. Like for Trubisky, he's going to be a free agent. It's how they perform when they get a second chance somewhere else, especially when they're a free agent and they get moved on and they can go do whatever they want. Like that's for me. If they're young, that's what can tell me how good of a good of a player they can be if they can maybe just go into a new system and prevail. It's the same with NBA.
For like Wiggins specifically, like. Look, was Minnesota doing him favors? Hell no, they were not doing him any fucking favors. That's maybe the worst franchise in the fucking league. But like he goes to the Warriors, which are a fantastic franchise. He has been good this year, but he still has not scratched the surface of what people thought he could be. Yeah, you were about to go somewhere, and I kind of cut you off.
No, you're good. I was just like talking about.
I was talking to Bobby, but
oh shit,
I'm not going anywhere.
Okay.
Maybe you're thinking about how I pulled up Andrew Wiggins' contract. So he has the rest of this season and then 2 more seasons after that. Damn. He is a couple weeks away from turning 26 years old.
That dude got a max contract.
The way that he got the max contract is also just asinine to me. It was like he got a meeting with management. And then they were like, will you pretty please play defense this year? He's like, I'll try my very best. And then they're like, okay, here's hundreds of millions of dollars.
That's literally what happened. Like, literally, it was like, oh, yeah. The Timberwolves front office was like, we talked to Wiggins, and he promised he'd try harder. So we're going to give him $35 million a year.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god.
As long as he promised, you know.
All right, we gotta let's get like 2-3 more non-football or NBA. Yeah. We can went on a long tangent about this shit.
Yeah, that was excellent. That was excellent.
Yeah. Let's get to non-NBA NFL questions, non-sports.
Let's see. All right. At Zach 2KYT says, not a question, but someone needs to take Jacob's green screen away. Which
dude, that clip I posted on Twitter got like,
it was great.
Almost 4,000 likes. Like,
oh shit, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I gained like 400 followers from it. It was like, damn, people fucking like that. I wish I would have just waited until I posted the video before I posted that clip, because I could have got a bunch of fucking eyes on it. Bobby, do you know what they're talking about?
I don't. I'm scrolling to find it.
I liked it. I liked when you grabbed the kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, the Ubre? Yeah, that was a great joke.
The green screen gives me more opportunity to be creative, which I enjoy. So
yeah, that's
I think it's a good idea. I like it.
I had to take advantage of that. No one's taking my fucking green screen.
No, that shit's nice. You got a pretty good one too, the little pop-up kind. That's
it's hanging by a stand. Did you end up buying that because you asked me to send it to you?
I might later on, but like
there would be a cheaper option. I just went with the first thing Amazon told me. I was like, yeah, sounds good.
I mean, yeah, there probably is a cheaper option, but I got like a large green screen that I can like pace around in front of, like, and it like goes under my feet. So I got that going for me, but I was thinking like maybe for something just easier to set up to get something like what you have.
That was a quick question. Let's do 2 more. That was really quick.
Yeah. All right. This one's from Aki, the Twitter god himself. And he says it's for me, but I'll extend it to everyone else. What is some advice you would give to upcoming, this says editors, but I'll just say like content people, and how did I, or just you guys, all meet the other members? I met you guys just from DMing you on Twitter. That's literally
I mean, we've all met kind of through Emio. Like, I knew who you were because of your interview with him.
That's right. And
I figured out Mojo through the Christmas special that he had us do. So literally just the NBA storyteller brought us together.
It's his world. We're just living in it.
Yes.
Exactly.
And we already got the story of how Bobby met Jacob. I met Bobby through Call of Duty and Jacob.
Yeah.
That was like a year ago.
It was.
That's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah. All right. What is your dream place to live?
Wait, we didn't answer the first half. We didn't answer the first half of that.
Oh, yeah.
Advice?
Yeah.
I mean,
advice.
My mantra has just been consistency and like just uploading as much as you fucking can. That's how I grew. And I was like, look, I'm just going to force feed this to everybody. I'm going to make so many videos. You have to fucking take me in. Look, I don't like it, but unfortunately, at least with YouTube, quantity always beats quality. Like my video on the Mavericks that I did, that took me, I mean, Rudy had to edit it, so that took his time, but for my time, that video took a grand total of like 2 hours max. That video is doing better than a video that took me a day to make. So that's just an unfortunate situation. But you do also have to have a baseline level of quality. You can't have dog shit content because then nobody's going to subscribe to it. But basically, it's just quantity over quality. Unfortunately, I wish that wasn't how it was, because personally, for me, the YouTubers that I like the most are all people who are quality over quantity. But in terms of what actually brings success on YouTube, it's quantity.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's all quantity. I would say it's more like I agree with your sentiment in general, but I think an important
I'm not trying
perspective
to
put on it is value. Like, just add value to the viewer's life in any aspect. Don't just make shit just to make shit. Consider your like how your audience is going to digest your content, and like that applies to either being just like a indie content creator like you or Mojo, or being someone like me who tends to work more on the back end and do like editing stuff, right? Like I know how I would want to consume something, and like how like the type of pacing that I enjoy, and so I try to make something that feels like I'm just watching it, and not like how I would feel in high school when I would like make a loop on Fruity Loops number 6 and then be like, all right, so this is how this loop sounds. It doesn't sound like anything anymore. It just sounds like that thing I made that loops over and over again. This is not music. Like for me, if I edit a video and I can watch it and it still feels like a video and doesn't just feel like noise that is all familiar to me, I'm like, all right, I've done a good job.
All right. Mojo, you got any advice?
I gotta take a shit.
Yeah, empty your bowels before podcast recordings. That's good advice.
Okay, let's get one more question. I think you said something about living.
Yeah, but I'm gonna skip that one because I already put one of his questions in the pod, I think. If not, then it's _ the young one. You can just submit next week. But Jeremy Lynn's burner at J_Lynn_burner ask, how much money would you give to spend a day with Jeremy Grant? This is definitely aimed at Jacob directly, but I'd say like $300.
Not much. I know it's
Jeremy
funny. Well, he's one of my favorite players, and I've been praising him for years when he wasn't even that well known previous. But Jeremy, it would be cool to have a conversation with an NBA player. I briefly talked to Eric Paschal, and that's the extent of my conversation with NBA players. And I would have a lot to talk about with Jeremy because I've been a fan of his for a while. But I'm not going to pay a bunch of money to talk to a guy. I'm not doing that.
I'll tell you who I would pay for, and like this is probably predictable, but I would pay probably like $1,000, which is like a very significant chunk of money to me. Like very significant. But I would pay like upwards of $1,000 to have like an hour and a half one-on-one with Chauncey Billups. I would love that. That'd be super cool. I feel like I could pick his brain about lots of stuff.
I would have given 10 fucking grand to have a conversation with Kobe. Can't do that no more. Yeah.
You ever watch that MKBHD video, interview with Kobe Bryant that he did?
I didn't know that was a thing, so no.
Yeah, it's excellent. It was like one of the first like switch ups of style of content that MKBHD honestly ever did, because like he's pretty slow to adjust his content. He's just like an OG tech YouTuber if you don't know. Everyone knows MKBHD. But I remember when he did that Kobe interview, it was like one of the very first things he did that was like, dare I say, outside of his comfort zone. I don't fucking know him personally, of course, but that's just how it came off as to me as the viewer. It's like, oh wow, this is really a new thing, and it's just fucking interviewing Kobe, which in hindsight is insane.
Yeah.
But at the time, I was like, oh wow, cool.
All right, can we get one question that's not about me being a huge
all right. I'll put the other question.
One real question.
Right. My stomach is pounding.
You'll be fine.
All right.
So, are you gonna change my seat?
Shit your pants. Just shit your pants.
What's your dream place to live, or are you content where you live? From It's the Young One on Twitter.
I'm content where I live, but my dream place to live would probably be, I don't have a specific location, but just like either on a lake or on a beach, private. There's no one near my house for miles. That is it. Like I want a big, nice house overlooking water where no human being can contact me.
Yeah, I'm pretty content.
Yeah, I'm similar.
Yeah,
I don't have any like dreams or aspirations to have like live in a certain such state or city, but I like water, I like nature, and I'd like to live in front of some good area like a beach or a lake, and I'll be content.
I don't need like a big, like I don't understand why those people like. this is a 5-member family and we have 27 bedrooms. Why? What is the point? Yeah. I would like a nice house, but I can't imagine outside of the property value moving the price that I would ever be interested in anything that's more than $1 million max. Because I don't need a house that fucking huge. And like once you get to that point, you'd have to pay people to clean it, and that means more people in my life, and that's a fucking nightmare. So
God forbid we interact with each other.
Yeah, it's horrible. Yeah. It's good thing I host a podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of love the small town I live in Alabama, but I would only want to like set up like a home base here and then sort of just maybe even rent out that home and travel around. That would be my dream, would be to just like kind of hop around from area to area and just sort of tour the cultures of those places.
That has higher property value.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, dude, everything is so cheap here. That's like one of the best things about living here. Like I'm able to get by
rent's
off
like
of
below $400.
Yeah. My rent is super cheap. I mean, given it's like a borderline studio apartment with like super thin walls and shit, but it's no central heat and air. It's fine. I'm happy here. You know, it would be better to have a house so I don't have to worry about like disturbing my neighbors.
I'm glad I'm not one of those people that's like I need to have a Lamborghini, a Maserati, a fucking like calm the fuck down. Yeah. I want one nice car, one nice house. Leave me alone.
I would even be happy with like a nice apartment, especially if it was in like a city I liked. Like if I could get a high-rise apartment in New York for literally anything, I would do it.
Oh yeah, that would be dope.
Absolutely.
Like a fucking penthouse.
Just anything with a view at all. Not even necessarily like the top floor and something fancy, but just like give me I
very much like floor to ceiling windows. That's my kink.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know it is. After shopping for that damn Airbnb.
Bobby, what's your
All right, boys, I have an appointment with my ass cheeks and the toilet seat.
All right. Good night, Mojo.
I have an appointment with my ass cheeks. All right. Bobby, let's get your dream home situation.
Yeah. So I'll be quick about it so Mojo can have his appointment. I mean, I appreciate where I've been now. I do enjoy the mountains. I've always liked it. It doesn't always have to be in the U.S. either. I mean, there's a bunch of states in the U.S. that have good places to live. Europe, I think, a couple of the Nordic countries, I think, have a lot of cool places I always want to live. Always would live in Kyoto too, Japan. That was more of like a thing when I was younger because I was born there. You know, I was born in Okinawa, not Kyoto, but I've always wanted to go and live there. But I don't speak Japanese, so maybe when I'm really older, I might live there for a little bit of time. But that's at the same time, as long as I'm, I got happiness or I got the right people around me where I'm at, then that's all that really matters.
Great answer.
Yeah, it's absolutely not the location as much, just a nice place. It's the people I care about.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, end the podcast.
Yeah. Now do your signature outro where I stop recording a little bit too late.